Hmm. All right, Shalom. First and foremost, only of all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Chagadash. A double honors to the apostles and yells of the great millstone, peace and salutation to the Akim, to the elect that are scattered throughout the four corners of this earth, presenting this truth and faith, and in all sincerity. I'm the Brother Shema Allah from the GMS Houston camp. And this lesson is going to be entitled, the internet, was made for this truth. All right. That's the whole purpose of the internet, being created, just so this word can be pushed out. All right. The internet wasn't created for Instagram. All right. For you to post, your favorite pictures or post pictures of your dog, right? Or your hobbies, or the new recipe, you done found. All right. That's not what the internet was made for. Okay. The spiritual reason behind the internet is to push this truth out. All right. So we wouldn't have to travel all over the planet. All right. Because when you look at, Paul, right? Paul did a lot of traveling, right? Rode on, ships, all of that, right? But we don't got to do that because, the internet basically takes the word, throughout the planet Earth, right? Through the satellites and the signals, and all of that. All right. To where brothers can be doing, a live stream and anybody could just tap in and watch. Okay. So that's, what the internet, was created for. And I'm just going to go into, a few scriptures, this is the internet scriptures. All right. If you've been around, you already know, what I'm going into. All right. But it's pretty much just a basic lesson for, for those who might not know. Okay. So this is Psalms 19 and 1. It says, the heavens declare the glory of the Most High, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. All right. Now this is twofold. Okay. Because it says the heavens declare the glory of the Most High, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Right. When you look into the sky, you see the clouds, right? You see, the sun, the moons and the stars, right? And you get amazed at these things, and it shows you, the beautiful creation of the Most High. All right. But also too, which says the heavens declare the glory of the Most High, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Going into this word, all right. Remember firmament, all right, because the firmament dealing with, basically the heavens, okay, like our atmosphere, right, is considered, a firmament, right, or the first heaven. All right, the second heaven will be considered outer space. Then you got the third heaven, which is the spiritual realm. Okay, but remember that word firmament. All right. So this is 2 Ezra 6:20. It says, and when the world that shall begin to vanish away shall be finished, then will I show these tokens. The books shall be opened before the firmament, and they shall see altogether. So what does that mean? All right, it says the books shall be opened before the firmament. That's going into this truth, all right, being taught, right, on the internet. Okay. Just like when you go here to Deuteronomy 32 and 2, it says, my doctrine shall drop as the rain, my speech shall distill as the dew. How can doctrine drop as the rain? So what is it talking about here? All right, talking about this truth, right, being taught and being spread everywhere, all right, and all of this knowledge is raining down, all right, by way of the satellites, by way of the signals, all right, sending that connection down to your devices. All right, that's how it's raining. Okay, so this is how the books is being opened before the firmament. The prophets are teaching and breaking these things down, all right, on the internet. All right, going into the prophecies, going into the mysteries, all right, letting you know, thus said Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. That's how the books are being opened and everybody is able to see it. Okay, the truth is able to be broadcasted on a higher level than what it was back then, because everybody has devices, everybody has computers, right? Everybody has YouTube. Okay. So let's Let's go back to Psalms 19. All right. So it says, the heavens declare the glory of the Most High, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge, right? Because throughout any time of the day, right, no matter what you're doing, no matter if you're working days, no matter if you're working nights, you're on a night shift, all right, the graveyard shift, whatever, right? You're still able to get on YouTube, right, and learn, okay? You are still able to, get this word, all right, no matter where you at any time of the day, okay? Because videos and lessons are constantly going out, nonstop, right? You got an unlimited supply, right, of this living water, right, which is Yahweh Shai, okay? And, it's hard to keep up with a lot of things, all right? It's hard to keep up with the apostles' videos, okay? The apostles and the elders, brothers all over in Great Millstone, constantly doing this and constantly, going into this book, the Bible. All right. Letting out people know, what's going on, right? Which are the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, which make up the Israelites. All right. But we are sent to only teach, or to only worry about the elect. Everybody has to hear it, right? Of the Israelites, right? Because that blood has to be taken off our hands. But we know and understand that only the Israelites, the elect, the elect of the Israelites are going to come back and fully serve the Most High, right? And understand and hear, right? And do all that they can do, to be saved. Okay. But it says there's no speech nor language where their voice is not heard, right? Because these things can be translated. All right, on YouTube, they got subtitles. All right. So I can be speaking English, but somebody in China could be watching this this video, and the subtitles can be, Chinese. So where they can, understand what I'm saying. Okay. Or you have brothers speaking many different languages as well. All right. You got brothers, doing, the teaching that's able to teach deaf brothers. All right. People that can't speak. Right. You got Spanish speaking camps. Right. You got brothers all in different countries. All right. That's speaking his word. Right. So it's no excuse for why you can't get it. All right. Because you can hear it in your own language. It kind of made me think about Acts the 2nd chapter when all of those the Israelites from, the different countries they were born in, they heard, the apostles basically teaching in their tongue. Okay. But this is Psalms 19:4. It says their line is going out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. Right. And them had he set a tabernacle for the sun, right? Going to the satellites and the signals. All right. The line is going out through everywhere. Okay, to where this truth, man, you can be in one country and it can reach unto the other end of the world. All right, and you didn't have to move nowhere. You didn't have to go anywhere. Right? See, look at me right now. I'm at home. All right, and then this video can go on YouTube. All right, and anybody from anywhere can see it. All right, this is for the truth's sake. All right, so I say internet or the YouTube ain't meant, for your podcast. All right. Teaching about feminism or teaching about, men should be this and then women should be that, which that's cool and all. All right. But this is the main focus. This is why, all right, it was created. Right. This makes the load easier, for us. Okay. Because Paul used to have to write letters and, sending them out and travel. Okay. But these are the spiritual epistles, the digital ones. Okay. And each video is an epistle. All right. But I ended here, Romans 10:18. But I say, have they not heard? Yes, verily, their sound went to all the earth, and their words unto the end of the world. Right. So it's no excuse. You have heard. Everybody said the Israelites have came across it, or whatever the case may be. They didn't have to accept it. All they had to do was hear it. Okay. And everybody in some shape, form, or fashion have heard it, right? Because it's all over TikTok, it's all over YouTube, it's all over Instagram, it's all over social media. If you have a phone, right? If you have any type of device that they would connect to the internet, you had to have come across this. All right. Or seen the Israelites out somewhere. All right. But yeah, that's the lesson. This is basically, like I said, going into how that the internet was created, solely for this, solely for to get the message out, to get this gospel out. All right. So the Most High can awaken his people and save them, right? The elect of his people, right? Before the destruction and the second coming of the Lord Yahushua, right? Which he's coming to destroy Babylon the Great, which is America. All right. And the only way out is going to be by turning back to your power. Okay. And casting off this world, right? And being born again. It's the only way. All right. So take heed to the message, apply what you're hearing, have that faith and endure to the end. With that, hey, I'm going to say shalom.